My name is Jill. I am 26 years old and I am a sexologist. I love being a sexologist. You're not going to find another person who loves their job more than me because I get to talk about sex all day. I am on a mission to teach the world that sex should be fun and pleasure is good for you. I teach sexuality at colleges and universities on topics like the politics of female sexuality and body image. I also teach sex education and empowerment informally in people's living rooms. I have a retail store called Feminique where people can come in and purchase vibrators and lubricants and massage oils and lingerie in a classy, upscale, and sex-positive environment. I write a sex column for a local paper. I write my own blog online, and I just published my first book called Fighting the Crusade Against Sex. I have a bachelor's degree in sexuality and a master's degree in sexuality, and I am wrapping up my doctorate in sexuality. And when I'm done, I'll be the only person in the world with all 3 degrees in sex. But it's not all rainbows and orgasms. We still live in a world where people think we shouldn't be talking about sex, and I have to deal with these people on a daily basis. In the end, I love my job, and it's all just a part of the day in the life of a sexologist. This morning I will be speaking at the Poly Living Conference here in Philadelphia. It's an annual conference on polyamory. And I am having a whole plethora of emotions this morning. I'm on hour 67 of a 70-hour work week, and I woke up at 5 on a Sunday morning to come here and speak. And also I'm a little nervous because it's my first time speaking at this conference, but from what I know about the crowd, I am probably about 40 years younger than the youngest person who's going to be in my audience. And whenever I speak with older crowds, I always have a little fear that they're going to say, who's this kid telling me how to have sex or be a sexual person? The program that I'm doing this morning is called The Politics of Sexual Oppression, and I'm a little nervous about that also because it's only my second time doing this program. Thanks for coming out, everybody. My name's Jill. I am a sexologist, which personally I think is the world's coolest job. Sexology is something that I decided that I wanted to do starting at 15 years old when I realized that I was being oppressed, and the way that I felt that I was being oppressed is that I had my first boyfriend, and I had learned about sex, and then I learned about fallopian tubes. And so when we had the first time, we were doing the kissing, which turns into the hugging, which is the rubbing, and the next thing you know, there's orgasm. I was like, what the hell just happened? And there must be something wrong with me because we didn't have sex. Then I went to the high school library and read a book about clitorises, and I was like, I've been lied to. This is horrible. And I felt that the reason I've been lied to is because I was a woman. And you can talk to children about what a penis is, because it has reproductive function. But to teach about a clitoris means you must be advocating pleasure, and I was pissed, and I was so livid. At 15 years old, I said, I will make a living out of teaching the world that sex should be fun and pleasure is good for you. So here we are. There's an activity I do where I give everybody little cards, and they have to line them up from something they're totally interested in doing sexually to not at all, versus they think should be totally legal and unregulated to should be totally illegal and punishable by jail. And so we have a conversation about personal values versus the politics of sexuality. And then the ones for totally uninterested, we have having a same-sex relationship, taking Gardasil shot, watching a television commercial for erectile dysfunction, things of this, and the same one with the porno. So your personal ones, maybe some people like, some people don't like. So the reason I chose the particular ones that I chose, and I want to go through them, is because there are instances of all of these in the United States of America being fined or jailed for people for doing this, every single one of them. So the one, for example, about reading Anne Frank. I don't know if anybody saw that one. There's the Diary of Anne Frank was removed from school, and the school had all kinds of legal issues because a parent complained about her child reading the description of Anne when she discovers her vulva and describing, I don't understand how, what the folds of skin are, and she says,
something about, I don't understand how a man could get in, let alone how a whole baby could get out. 13-year-old girl talking about this. Banned.
I think the presentation went great. I think it was a lot better than I originally was worried about. The audience was super engaged, super responsive, and great questions, great comments, great owning up to being both the oppressee and the oppressor. So that was my goal, is to get people to recognize that. After I was done speaking, lots of folks came up and shook my hand and sold a ton of books, and one man had heard about my work all the way in Canada, so I was really flattered about that. I also bumped into a guy named Chris, who, great story, 5 years ago when I just graduated college, sent him a resume because I wanted to be a sex therapist, and he kind of was like, well, you need a master's or a doctorate to do that, but good luck in your career. And here we meet 5 years later, and he actually approaches me and offers me this fantastic opportunity to be kind of a bit of a house sex workshop presenter at his private practice. So I am in sex education heaven with the prospect of having this opportunity.
Well, I really liked Jill's presentation. I think it was a very timely discussion about sex and oppression. And she does a really nice job at helping us look at everyday events and everyday situations that people are oppressed by. And what I really find very helpful from her talk is looking at the way in which we also may be oppressing people without necessarily recognizing that we're the oppressors at times too. And it's really difficult in today's society, with today's social climate and political climate, to really be out and open about sexual expression without somebody having a negative opinion that will force some discussion, often leading to oppression. So I really appreciate Jill doing this workshop today. She's really exciting to listen to. She seems so passionate about her work, and I think she's really going to be doing such a great job in the field of sexuality and sexology.
And in addition to everything else going on today, I did a quick phone interview with a radio station in Connecticut, and I thought it was really interesting that they brought up the controversy with dispensing emergency contraceptives out of vending machines at Shippensburg University. And Shippensburg University is one of my favorite and best clients that I do college work with, and so it was great that I was able to plug their story, kind of defend them to a whole new audience in Connecticut. Plan B is a high-dose emergency contraceptive pill that is available without a prescription. This has been controversial because people frankly don't understand science and medicine and think that it causes an abortion, which it does not. And this brings us to Shippensburg University, which has been in the national news lately because they put Plan B in a vending machine on campus. I was at Shippensburg anyway for the vagina monologue, so I thought I'd go check out a protest. Couldn't find the protest, but did come across a news crew.
Plan B is just another type of contraceptive pill. It is not an abortion pill. It is not anything different except it's a higher dose for emergency purposes. And it's not unusual that they are accessible. What is unusual that it's in a vending machine and at cost, which I think is a great service to the Shippensburg community.
They couldn't find the protest either. Turns out that the protest was about 3 people. So then I decided to go check out the vending machine for myself. I am in the Shippensburg University Health Services. I wanted to check out the Plan B vending machine. They would not let me back because I'm not a student, but I was able to recruit a student to go back and take a peek for me. I am glad that Shippensburg University makes Plan B available to their students. I'm glad that they make it available in private, and I'm glad that the protest didn't amount to much. Now, between you and me, I don't really think that those people protesting really think that Plan B is a carcinogenic. I think that they just don't like the idea of women having guilt-free sex. And if guilt-free sex is not your thing, that's your prerogative, but stop trying to ruin it for the rest of us.